It has been confirmed that the next arc will be Elbaf. It's probably the most anticipated arc in all of One Piece. Elbaf was first mentioned in chapter 116 22 years ago. This island, which is the Kingdom of Giants, is full of mysteries. We've seen some giants and part of the landscape through Big Mom's flashback, but that's nothing compared to what we've yet to see. Let me show you today, through 10 theories, several events that could take place on Elbaf, how it will be important for the plot, and also for the Straw Hats. Number 10. The arc may not start as you expected. Whenever the Straw Hats arrive at a kingdom, they are rarely welcomed warmly by the population. Remember on Drum Island, the inhabitants despised them because Blackbeard's pirates were attacking the island. In Alabasta, they had to hide to avoid being spotted by Baroque Works agents, and because King Cobra had a bad reputation. On Skypiea, things started off well, but they were soon considered outlaws and even sentenced to death. In Fishman Island, they were accused of kidnapping mermaids and were despised due to the vision of Shiarli. On Dressrosa, they had to hide from the population to avoid drawing attention, and their heads were put on bounties. On Jaya, it also started with a confrontation, and they had to stay discreet to avoid being spotted. Every time the country is hostile to them at first, but in the end they are adored. This time it seems the Straw Hats won't have this problem because they are already with Dory and Broggy, so they must freely enter Elbaf without any problems. However, I believe Oda will follow his usual narrative pattern. But what could cause problems between the giants of Elbaf and the Straw Hats? I think I have the answer. Most of the giants from Elbaf are usually introduced in pairs like Dory and Broggy or Jarl and York. However, during the introduction of Loki, he was introduced alone. But there's another giant we know well who was introduced solo. The giant from Dressrosa, Hyrden, who expressed his desire to become the king of the giants. Therefore, Prince Loki and Hyrden could be related as both seek the throne. Remember that each giant deity is always composed of one with a round head and another with a more rectangular head. Prince Loki seems to have a round head, while Hyrden has a rectangular one. So, we can imagine that Prince Loki dislikes Hyrden because he wants to become the king of the giants. As a result, when Luffy naively mentions that Hyrden is one of his allies who fought alongside him in Dressrosa, there would be total silence because Luffy might pronounce a name that His Majesty Loki despises. This could lead to hostilities between the giants of Elbaf and the Straw Hats, which brings me to number 9. The battle for the throne. When the Straw Hats arrive in a kingdom, there's often a conflict between two individuals vying for the throne. On Drum Island, the conflict was between Wapol and Dalton. In Alabasta, we had Crocodile versus King Cobra. In Dressrosa, it was Don Flamingo against Riku Daldo. In Wano, it was Orochi versus the Scabbards. So again, in Elbaf, Prince Loki would be in conflict with someone else for the throne. Either Loki is the current king but an unworthy one and a hero would come to restore honor to the people of Elbaf, or Loki might not be the king yet, but would become one. Obviously, Loki wouldn't like this, so he might send some Straw Hats to prison. However, number 8. The Giant Tree of Elbaf. You've probably noticed that on Elbaf, everything is gigantic. The mountains, the houses, even the surrounding fauna. But what you might not have noticed is this enormous tree when Elbaf was first introduced. In the manga, it's even clearer. There's a giant tree in the middle of Elbaf. Obviously, I'm not saying anything new by saying that Elbaf is inspired by Norse mythology and culture. The name Prince Loki, the Viking helmets, and the prow of the ships, Oda draws heavily from this culture. You have probably heard about Yggdrasil, the gigantic tree that holds a world or multiple worlds. We already know of 3 giant trees in One Piece: Treasure Tree Adam, Whale Tree, and the Tree of Knowledge. There are many theories that this tree must be connected to devil fruits. Some even think that it's the Tree of Adam. Giants might become angry at the crew for stealing the tree from Elbaf, similar to how the samurai were angry with Zoro for having the Shusui, which was stolen from Ryuma's grave. Number 7. The Celestial Rose. What's fascinating about Elbaf's first appearance is the lines visible in the background. In the anime, they are not very clear, but in the manga, they are quite visible. There seems to be something as large as the giant tree. This is where I need to talk about the Bifrost from Norse mythology, a rainbow bridge connecting the worlds. I'm not saying there's a huge rainbow next to Elbaf, but rather a bridge that connects the lower part of Elbaf, inhabited by commoners, to the upper part with nobles. There are known pathways in the sky. The first time we saw them was when Skypiea's bridge appeared. Remember also Ganfal's words, who told the crew that the knock-up stream is not the usual way to reach the Sky Islands, but that there are routes and connections between the islands. Number 6. Usopp. It has been established that Usopp is among the weakest members of the crew. When he was first introduced in the series, Usopp did not wield any flashy powers, nor did he have a strong physical presence. With time, Usopp improved his sniping skills and he even awakened observational haki, which is a really nice feat compared to the other Straw Hats. Usopp was out of his depth in the Wano Country arc, and he was unable to beat any notable members of the Beast Pirates in a 1v1. It seems improbable that Usopp will get a power-up in the Egghead Island arc, but I'm sure he'll get one in Elbaf. Usopp dreams of becoming a strong warrior, and what better place to achieve that dream than the country that is home to the bravest warriors. Number 5. The Return of Enel. In Norse mythology, the Thunder God plays a very important role. The son of Odin triumphs over his enemies with his hammer, Mjolnir. We have a similar character in One Piece who manipulates lightning and considers himself a deity, Enel, the main antagonist of the Skypiea arc. We know that after losing his fight against Luffy, he headed to the moon aboard his Maxim, but there he was disappointed to find only the ruins of an ancient civilization. He also had to create new weapons and fight the moon pirates. I think Enel will return during the Elbaf arc due to the mythological connections and also because of a hint about him. We know Enel is from the sky island called Burka. Burka is also a Norse city active between 750 and 950 AD during the Viking era, which again connects with Elbaf and its inspirations. Number 4. Luffy, Shanks, and Eustace Kid. Did Shanks leave Elbaf? Is Eustace Kid alive? We need answers to these questions because they're about one of the most loved characters in One Piece. If Eustace Kid survived, then we will see him at Elbaf for sure. He'll need time to recover both physically and mentally after clashing with Shanks. If Shanks did not leave the island, then he and Luffy will meet there for sure. They may even fight. Many of you might not imagine Luffy fighting the man who saved his life and gave him his straw hat, but as Luffy said, he intends to take down the 4 emperors, so we must be prepared for this possibility. This would also be an opportunity for Usopp to see his father again. To be honest, I think Shanks and Luffy will meet in the final arc, but Oda is unpredictable. We must expect anything, so don't be surprised if we see Shanks and Luffy's reunion at Elbaf. Number 3. Saul. When it comes to the giants, not everyone holds the same importance in One Piece as Jaguar D. Saul. Saul was an incredibly important figure for Robin while growing up and was actually one of the biggest reasons why she's alive today. Good guys are very rare in the Navy, and Saul certainly was one of them. Despite being one of the members of the Navy, he didn't hesitate in trying to save the people of O'Hara from destruction when he realized how evil the world government actually was. It was revealed that Saul had survived the tragedy of O'Hara, although he was completely burned up. He summoned the giants of Elbaf and took every single book that they had back to the island with him, which further adds to the importance of Elbaf. All this also makes Elbaf an arc that would ultimately reveal the biggest of truths about the history of the One Piece, and potentially even target the Void Century. Number 2. The Search for the One Piece. We must remember that the Elbaf arc is closely related to the search for the One Piece, especially if the famous treasure is connected to Yggdrasil. This arc could be the key to finding the treasure of the legendary island, with the most incredible and shocking revelations yet. Since One Piece is in its final saga now, Luffy is closer than ever to becoming the Pirate King. At the moment, he is the closest man to the treasure, and he has 3 of the 4 road poneglyphs under his belt. Luffy just needs the last one to get to Laugh Tale and find the One Piece. However, this road poneglyph has eluded him so far. Towards the end of the Wano Country arc, it was revealed that they should seek the man with the burn scar because there is a high possibility that he has the last road poneglyph. I believe Elbaf is the best arc for this mysterious man to appear. Number 1. The truth about the giants. I saved the most important point for last. For years, fans have speculated that the giants are a race of ancient humans and that the giants of Elbaf might be the last representatives of a kingdom destroyed in the past. Their knowledge could be the key to discovering the world's secrets. With this arc, we will finally uncover the truth about the giants, their past, Joy Boy, and Nika. That's it for today. We have to wait for the end of Egghead before we find out any of this. A new character may join the Straw Hats and follow the crew to Elbaf. If you want to know more about this topic, you can watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.